Hydroelectric feature. The current total hydroelectric capacity of US is about 96 gigawatts. Environmental issues may prevent expansion of this energy resource because of the widespread flooding of areas and depletion of the fertile rivers, valleys, and displacement of people. So even though it is a very good source which is not going to do a lot of damage to the environment, but it is still a little bit of an issue because it is using all the fertile land which is close to the rivers, and also one has to move all the people from the close to these where this hydroelectric power production is there, so we have to move the people from that place. So these two are a little bit of concern. Geothermal energy, this is also another continuous source. The physics of geothermal energy is the temperature increases with the depth in the earth. So as you dig deep into the earth, the temperature of the water inside, or close to the center of the earth, would be higher. Water below the surface is hot enough for useful energy to be extracted. A natural example is the geysers north of San Francisco. They produce about 750 megawatts of energy. So this is already in place at San Francisco. And the next one is a variable source. The sun, the energy from sun is variable, so that's why the solar energy is classified into variable energy source. Though it's not constant, a great replacement for the fossil fuels. This solar energy is a great replacement for fossil fuels, and sunlight can produce over 1 kilowatt of power to each square meter on which it falls. So if you look at each square meter area, then how much ever the sunlight falls in it, that would be equivalent of 1 kilowatt power. And also the earth receives more energy from the sun each hour than the world uses it per year. So how much ever energy the whole world needs in a year would be delivered from sun within an hour. So if you find a way, if one can find a way to capture it and convert it into useful energy, then just 1 hour sunlight per day is enough for the whole entire year for the whole world. And more of it is it's free. So using sunlight to make electricity is done by the photovoltaic cells. The advantages of using these photovoltaic cells, which convert the sunlight into electricity, is there are no moving parts, little or no maintenance. You just install them on rooftops or wherever you want it to convert, and then just be there, and they keep doing their job. That's it. So the drawbacks of it is for a given power output, the solar cells are more expensive than fossil fuel plants. So the efficiency is about 20%. The commercial solar cells are about 20% efficient at this time. So if scientists could come up with more efficient ways to convert the sunlight into electricity, then it will be a great game changer. Another variable clean source is the wind energy. You would have seen this kind of windmills close to the hilly areas, and this currently wind generators produce about 1% of the world's electricity. So they capture the wind and they produce electricity out of it. Energy from the oceans, energy produced from the waves and the tidal motion of the world's oceans, and this type of energy is called the tidal energy source. And waves as an energy source, the waves carry great amount of energy. So we know that in order for the wave to go so high, it requires high amount of energy, and when it falls down, it releases its energy. So if there is any way we could capture that energy, that could be used as a usable energy for us. Several methods of harnessing wave energy. The first one is ocean waves run up a sloping funnel-like channel to be trapped in an elevator reservoir. In chains of floating cylinders, containers, they place it in there and they try to capture that energy from those waves. Key issues: the energy storage. So, all these variable energy sources we talked about. So, if the energy is continuous, that is fine, but if it is variable, that is like, you will have it for some time, you won't have it for some other time, then you should store it when it is available and then use it when it is absent. So that is actually a very sensitive issue and key to using variable sources: the storage of energy for use when the source is not available. So there are only very limited options to use the energy, that is using the battery or water electrolysis, battery and water electrolysis, using the electricity when it is available and not needed at a particular time to pump water up to a high reservoir. New technologies. Hydrogen fuel, we have seen that hydrogen liberates more energy when it combines with oxygen than any other common fuel sources. But the limitation is that it is found in only compounds and other elements, notably with oxygen and water, and must be separated to get it out. So, hydrogen is not readily available as it is. It is available as a compound, and we have to find a way to break it and then use it. So, breaking it is not an easy issue. Two ways to get the energy from hydrogen. One is by simple burning, and the other one is the fuel cells. The major advantage is the reliability. Biofuels for vehicles. Example is ethanol, the same chemical found in beverages such as wine, beer, and whiskey. And the primary plant source is sugarcane and corn. So this ethanol is made from sugarcane and corn. But the energy needed to grow corn and process it into ethanol is not an easy thing. And putting the corn in the fields will take a large fields, and also takes a whole lot of time to do all those crop to come to hand. Diesel engines cannot run on ethanol, but they can run on biodiesel. Soybean oil energy yields about 2 joules for each joule of input. So advantages of using biodiesel is it produces less carbon dioxide. Disadvantage is land usage. It takes a huge amount of land and artificial fertilizers in order to have high yield of crop. We use fertilizers that would mess up the soil, and it needs to grow large crops in order to produce such kind of biodiesels or ethanol. Strategies for future energy conservation. So the best way to save energy for future is do not waste. So the better way is build energy efficient buildings and homes where the whatever you use is not really released outside and wasted. So make sure that we have good insulation and fuel efficient appliance. And designing and manufacturing of fuel efficient vehicles is the best way to address the future crisis. So this finishes the chapter with what kind of problems we'll have for the energy, and what are the ways we need to opt to address that issue. So best way is to conserve the energy and look for some alternative energy sources which would not mess up with the environment, but at the same time give the best out of it.